Assalamu alaikum. This is Engineer Tariq Al-Aqarbeh, and we are doing an interview with an English teacher. His name is Robert, and he is a friend of mine. We want to ask him some questions about English and learning English. So, how are you, Robert?
Very good. Nice
Very
to talk
well.
to you, Tariq.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tariq was my student before.
Yes, I was a TOEFL student.
Yes.
Yeah. The first question is, how can someone improve his English language after graduating from university?
Okay. Lots of people in Jordan take English, but they're not really practicing English. So they study in school for an hour or two a day, but afterwards they're not using it in a kind of meaningful way.
Mm-hmm.
When you leave school, you're not even doing that 1 or 2 hours practice anymore.
Yeah.
So the most important thing to improve your English is to be using it constantly.
Yeah.
You must be reading. You must be writing.
Yeah.
You must be listening and speaking. You'll lose those skills if you don't use them.
Yeah.
For instance, the TOEFL score is only good for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for that is because even if you got a very nice TOEFL score, in 2 years you could have lost your skills to the point where that score just isn't valid anymore.
Yeah.
So after school you must be using it, and you need to use it in a professional way.
Yeah.
So if you just speak with your colleagues in a kind of broken, kind of half Arabic, half English,
Yeah.
or when you forget a word, going back to Arabic, then you're really not progressing.
Yeah.
You're kind of falling down to the level of the person you're speaking to.
Yeah.
So it's very important, and actually the most useful thing, to kind of find people who are natural English speakers,
Yeah.
either in your field or maybe among your colleagues, where you can actually practice English at a very high level.
Yeah.
It's hearing it at a high level that will make you get better. You want to rise up to their level, not kind of go down to their level.
Yeah.
So watching BBC News is sometimes, or Al Jazeera English
Yeah.
is useful, because you'll hear the news that you already know about, but repeated to you in English. So maybe you'll learn new words, maybe you'll hear a phrase you didn't hear before, but you have to use it every single day to get better at it.
Okay.
So I think after school, you have to make a real effort to get better at it. It's like lots of people take high school Spanish.
Yeah.
Then they realize when they leave college, I don't remember even 5 words of high school Spanish.
Yeah.
Because you didn't ever really learn it in a useful way.
Yeah.
So practice with your colleagues, practice in your field. Read the technical journals in your field. It is very important in English, so that you learn the language and the way that people are using it in your field. Because
Like
it's interesting.
IEEE
Yeah.
papers?
Yeah, and the things that are relevant to you. If there's no reason for you to be reading articles about archaeology unless you are an archaeologist.
Yeah.
But if you're in the technical field, then you should be reading technical papers in English.
Yeah.
So that you're able to correspond with your colleagues, be able to write them emails that they understand, and they aren't trying to kind of figure out what did they really mean by that. So when you're putting yourself into the shoes of the other person, the person that you want to talk to, the professor or the person who can give you a job, and you think to them, are they going to understand what I mean? This is how we make good communication, is thinking about the other person. So I think that the practice and making a real effort to practice is going to be the way to increase your skills after school.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. The second question is it possible for people who are learning English as a foreign language to be able to speak English fluently?
Well, it really depends on what age you're starting at. Babies learn language very quickly. It's kind of what their job is, to learn first words, and then sentences, and then be able to make paragraphs.
Yeah.
Adults don't have that same physical connection going on in their head.
Yeah.
So they get slower. So if you start as a teenager, maybe in a year or so, you could become quite fluent.
Yeah.
Because if you're an adult, it really takes much longer. And after 40, there's probably not much hope that you'll become fluent. But you can still learn a language and become competent at it, but you won't become fluent. If you're lucky enough to go to the United States or UK or Canada to go to school there, where you actually spend a full year doing nothing but reading in English and writing in English, you'll be amazed that even if you're over 40, you can still become almost fluent. And if you're under 40, you can almost certainly become very fluent. Because you'll just use the language every single day. You'll lose your bad habits of falling back into Arabic because no one there will know a single word.
Yeah.
Everything you do, from being at the grocery store to talking to your professor to reading online, it will all be in English. And that's really, that kind of immersion will be the way that you can really become fluent. So if you have the chance to do that, that's the best thing to do. But other than that, you just have to exercise your brain every single day.
Yeah.
That's the way to become fluent. You can't do it on a kind of once a week or twice a week thing. You really have to do it every day.
For how long every day? Maybe 2 hours or?
Oh, not 2 hours. No one can do 2 hours every day. But you could certainly be able to read 1 or 2 articles from an English-speaking newspaper. You could certainly watch a 5 or 10 minute YouTube video.
Oh, very good.
That it may be on an academic subject, something you didn't know about before, that will teach you new vocabulary.
Yeah.
You really won't get much better like watching Hollywood movies. Because the language there is pretty simple and it's a lot of swear words. You already know all of those swear words. Those are the first things you learn in English.
Yes.
But you won't learn academic words. You won't learn a way to stretch yourself. But you can do things online. You can see, like, sometimes there's word of the day applications, or you can find websites that do that will teach you a different word every day. And then try to practice using that. Whatever it is you can do that's interesting to you, that you can do every single day, is going to be the best way to improve. Some people like to do web forums in English. Because if it's a subject they're interested in, like it's sports or video games or something like that, even though their English might be weak, if they use it every day about a subject they're interested in, like they make posts, they read other people's writings, it's something they're actually interested in, this is a way for them to become involved in a community of English speakers for no cost, and in a way that keeps them active every day. They want to see what other people write and respond to their message.
Yeah.
So that's one way. The internet is very, very useful for improving your language skill.
Very good. Thank you so much. The third question is, how much time will take the person to improve to a very good level in English?
It really, really depends on the person.
Yeah.
Again, it seems like babies just learn language almost automatically when they hear it.
Yeah.
As you get older, like maybe under 10, most kids that move to a different country where a different language is spoken become pretty fluent in about 6 months, to the point where they're able to do most things that they need to do. Teenagers, it takes maybe a year. After into your 20s, it can take maybe 18 months. But it really depends on how much exposure you have.
Yeah.
Just like saying, oh, I'll take an English course and practice a few times a week. That will certainly improve your skills, but it really won't make you fluent.
Yeah.
Fluent is going to come from practicing every day and hopefully getting some exposure to an English-speaking environment. Like even traveling into the United States or Canada or the UK for a month, where you actually have to use your skills every day, can really dramatically improve your skills. It's like I always say about my Arabic, if I really, really want to get good, I have to go to a village and spend 6 months there, where I just can't fall back into English.
Yeah.
When I want something, I must do it in Arabic.
You calling this is to falling back to the native the language is a very bad habit?
It is a habit. It's because it's easy. It really is easy. Like in Amman, most people here speak a little bit of English. If I don't know the word, I can point, I can kind of come up with something to give them an idea of what I'm talking about. If I'm speaking to someone who just really doesn't know any English, it forces me to use my Arabic. It forces me to use what I know to the best I can. Yeah. And that's actually how you get better, is by pushing yourself to do something you couldn't do before.
Very good, very good. The last question is, what is the correct way or the best way to prepare for the international TOEFL exam and get high marks in short time?
Okay. Well, if you want to do it in a short time, then it helps if you're really very good at English.
Yeah.
If you think that there's a shortcut, though, to get better at, especially TOEFL, which is a very difficult test.
I think May I interrupt you? The person who has asked this question wants he is he is in short of time.
Yeah.
He wants to get this TOEFL because he forced to in a very short time.
Yes.
So okay.
This is often the case. I've taught TOEFL before,
Ah.
and everyone wants to do it fast. If
Yeah.
there was a fast way to do it, really, I would tell you.
Yeah.
But there's just not a shortcut.
Yeah.
You can't get better at academic English. You can get better at conversational English
Yeah.
much faster than you can at academic English. The TOEFL English that they're testing you on wants to know, can you correspond in a professional way?
Yeah.
Like at a college level, not just making conversation. So you have to have a strong familiarity with the way academic English is written. And academic English, because it's about complicated subjects, is just much more complicated.
Yeah.
If there was a simple academic English, we would use it. But because the ideas are complicated, maybe they're about physics, maybe they're about anthropology, maybe they're about psychology, whatever it is, we're using the complex language not to be confusing, but because there's just no other way to explain it.
Yeah.
So you just have to expose yourself to your field. If you want to get your MA or PhD, and that's why you need to get the TOEFL. Or for other people, maybe they want to become a registered pilot, and they have to be able to take the TOEFL. There's not a shortcut to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You must really become expert in your field and know the vocabulary of your field.
Yeah.
To the best way you can in English. And then from that, decide where you can make the most gains. So there's no reason for everyone to know all of the advanced words in psychology,
Yeah.
unless you're a psychologist.
Yeah.
There's no reason for everyone to know all of the advanced words in information technology, unless that's your field.
Yeah.
But if it's your field, you need to become an expert in it.
Yeah.
And you need to become an expert at it in English. If you can do that, really know your own field, then you can actually take that in the TOEFL and in fairly short time get a much better score. If you're already an expert in your field.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just kind of have a general knowledge of your field in English, then it won't help.
Mm-hmm.
But the study skills and your abilities as an expert in that particular field are exactly the thing that you can translate into success on the TOEFL.
So you are saying that the first step is to be an expert in your field.
Yeah, be a really good student. Be a very good student in your field.
Yeah.
And in particular, be looking at your field in not just your local location, but internationally. So for some students, they need to learn some German. For some students, they need to learn some Chinese, depending on their field. If you want to work in mathematics, you must really know Russian and German to become an expert in that field.
Yeah.
If you want to work in IT, it would be very useful to you to learn some Chinese to work in the field, because these are where the big discoveries are coming from. If you want to work with the IT companies or other academic responsibilities in the United States, then you're going to have to really know those words. When you approach someone in an email or you meet someone for the first time at a conference, you need to be able to convince them that you can communicate clearly from the outset. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if they're an important, busy person, they really don't have the time or energy to try to figure out what it is you want.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what the TOEFL is good for, is focusing your mind on the problem of communication.
Yeah.
If you're an expert in your field already, then you'll see what it is they're going for on the TOEFL and be able to kind of master those skills just because you're already a very good student. Mm-hmm. So if you're not already a good student, then it will take you much longer on the TOEFL. You'll have to do it in a more general way. You'll have to learn lots of different words. You'll have to kind of practice over and over again.
Yeah.
So if there's any shortcut, I can say it's become very, very good in your own field before you try to take the TOEFL. Other than that, you just will have to work. And for most people, getting ready for the TOEFL is probably going to take them between 6 months to a year. Mm-hmm. You can't just do it in a few weeks. A few weeks would be great if you just need a refresher course.
Yeah.
You're already very good in English, and you just want to make sure you'll do extra well in English.
Yeah.
But to go from a conversational level to a TOEFL level is going to require a sustained effort, probably at least 6 months and closer to a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry
So-
for that. I didn't
No
invent English.
Yes, yes. No problem. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tarek. It's good to
Okay.
see you again.
Thank you. There is no more questions.
Okay.
So, thank you.
How's that?